in. Uh, this is the Board Experience podcast. I'm here with Trevon or TREV Ministries, and we have Marvin once again. And today we'll be talking about something quite interesting. Well, I mean, all our episodes are quite interesting, if you to ask me. Right now it's just all audio, so I mean, you could play this while you're washing the dishes, washing or folding clothes. You don't have to sit down and stare at the screen. But with that said, we'll get into the title and stuff later. But first, as usual, we'll talk about our weeks. Um, any volunteers?
My week was pretty cool. In between, I was tutoring a secondary school student, so that's one thing.
Okay.
Um, I also been working towards getting a job. So that was basically my week. Preparing for the sermon on Sabbath yesterday. So that was a part of my week as well. So it was a pretty good week. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, my week was alright. I'm part of the AY team for Zion SDA, so we have a packed month coming up. We
Okay.
want to. One of the things we were doing is trying to bring back a roundtable discussion. It's something that has seen a lot of success with the young people. It's like we create a circle in the church or in another area, and we just bring up topics and we have discussions. Everybody on the same level. The discussion we're going to have Friday coming, I believe, is on lust.
Okay.
So, yeah, these have been very interesting. The last two we had was on intimacy and how to handle relationships as Seventh Day Adventists.
Okay.
These end up going very late. People didn't want to leave, but these discussions kind of show you where everybody is and the various ways we approach these topics or the different philosophies we have in terms of principles. And it's funny how the world has seeped into our perception of these topics without us even realizing it.
Correct. Correct.
So I always find these things very interesting. So we'll be talking about lust on Friday. We're trying to arrange transport so we can facilitate a variety of people. But if you guys are interested, I can let you know what's going on. We can get into that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That sounds like a good vibing. Yeah.
Yeah, I need more men of substance, man. Men who understand or who read and who comprehend principles. I need persons like that to be in the conversation.
Mm. Trev, what are you thinking, Trev?
Right, I talked to the man already. He tagged me in, bro. Once I free, once I free, I good, bro. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a consistent Bible study myself, but I
Right, on the
alternate.
Friday for true, for true,
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
Yeah,
yeah.
I
It
alternate
was
with McCune, so
okay.
I can make it sometimes. Yeah,
Okay.
You can make it this Friday?
yeah.
Alright. I'll see what I can do about the transportation for you guys. I don't want you all to be out on them streets hustling to get there. I want to see if I can put something to get you all to and from. Alright?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
I vibes.
Boy,
Alright.
speaking of streets, boy. I had to straight too much of topic. But fellas, like, what? For those who don't know, I think it was Sabbath gone. Like, we had a real bloodbath in Castries, boy.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I heard about that.
but I wanted to hear like what your men thought about it, boy. Like, it was almost in quick succession. Like an hour. How many devs did we have? Like maybe 5, 6, and they were almost like an hour, 2 hours apart. Like while men were in church, you get a update of what's going on your phone, like videos with men on the ground, boy, like blood and first they're like dogs, gasa, you know. like lying on the ground and things. So I just wanted to know like what for if by chance like if you received those updates, like while you were in church or was it after, and like just what were your thoughts in general?
Alright, well, I think I got a lot of different stories from different perspectives since I guess I know a good bit of people. So basically, what I understood when I got to church at a particular church, I'll not be specific this time, but they were consoling a particular individually and a particular individual because apparently two of the men that were shot were related to her, right? And it was reported that both died, but apparently it was just one who died and one was critical.
That's
So
horrible.
that was the first source of information I got. By the time I presented at the church and left, um, I got wind, of course, of the second instance or the second incident, and apparently, based on my WhatsApp statuses and knowing people that are in the trenches, it seemed to be a 6 and 7 thing. So
Okay.
Saturday is a day where everyone runs errands, everyone is out, and the most of these juveniles, they kind of have a double life. So Saturday would be the day where even if I doing a kind of manage during the week. Saturday is the day where I run errands for my grandmother or my sister. I in town with my auntie. So
Mm-hmm.
that's usually where they're most vulnerable. That's when they kind of have to come to town,
Mm-hmm.
to shop and thing. So apparently that is the also the most vulnerable time for them as well. So basically, one six got shot. Say Irie, well, if you're taking out ours, we go take out one of yours. And I think that was basically the back and forth that took place in Castries that day. Um, it was a tit for tat. That's what I understood.
Right. Right.
That's the
Right.
information I got.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, boy, church gun related.
Okay. Check
Um,
out it. Check
Yeah, man have the
well,
scoop.
let's just
Yeah, the
say
man,
that
man
my
squad kicking
career
off the path.
path, my career path, um, forces me to interact and teach some of the individuals that are
Boy, you a
connected.
drug dealer, bro? That
Nah,
sound
nah,
like
nah,
a that
I'm
career
a
path sound very
secondary school
dubious. But
teacher.
thank you for clearing that
Secondary
up.
school teacher. That is it.
Thank
That's
you for clearing that up. It sounded, yeah, yeah. Man says career path. Yeah, seems like. For me, I didn't get wind of it until like church was over. I try not to look at my phone too much.
Okay.
But I'm a social worker, so I work with these young people, and it's getting out, and the way they view life, the way they view success is so convoluted, is so twisted that it's hard to even bring common sense into the conversation and help them understand that you sooner die than get the
Right.
success that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Because as a young man, when you hear they kill one of your friends, you don't say, it doesn't register in your mind, I could be next.
Mm.
Yeah, what really registers is, but how the man can do that? The man they know who we are, so you feel invincible until it happens to you.
Yeah. Like it's time to spin. Time to spin
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
Wow. 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 For me, um, while I was at the same program, um, me and a few of the gentlemen, we were kind of taking a breather outside, and some of the gentlemen were getting the updates on their phones, boy, and it was, boy, for me it was just kind of crazy. Um, one of the things we kind of made a connection on was there was a death that happened some time ago with one of the, you know, juveniles, as Trev put it, from one of the hot areas, and we had reason to believe that it was kind of like it was in fact a tit for tat, like you mentioned. So yeah, but it's just crazy to see it happen in broad daylight in that manner. Because to my understanding, I believe one of the shootings took place at KFC. There was an instance of a shooting at KFC, and some innocents got grazed, injured as well.
Yeah, boy, nothing good happens at KFC. Huh?
Yeah, boy. So that for sure, boy. I feel well. I don't know, boy, but
Well, I mean, I said the fellas not. They might be experienced killers, but not trained there.
right.
It's just the once I get you, it don't matter who buy you. Always the
Yeah,
point is I get you. So, and I mean, I don't think there's any report on the weapons they use, but a lot of it is just scatter shot. You check,
yeah,
and them are not real man to walk up and just put two in your face and move. They run around, drive by, all kind of thing.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you find that other individuals get shot in the process as well.
yeah.
Especially if they choose to use automatic weapons, that makes it even worse. So
Yeah, boy.
yeah.
It's like them men getting their weapons like it's hot bready. Yeah, like
Well, yeah, bro. It's a business. So
yeah. Hmm. Marvin, you about to say something? Okay,
Nah, man.
okay. Um, but speaking just piggybacking, if that's a word, if I said it right, on what you said. Marvin mentioned something very critical. In terms of the way these guys view success. Part of what we want to talk about today is um like the importance, or rather is it even important to, like, as a man, who wants to contribute positively to society and so on, like, is settling down um important? Because I know we have a narrative, um well, I can't say nowadays, it's been out for a while, that fellas should, like settling down is like kind of like a almost like a last resort, or or final option in some spaces. um what is more encouraged is, you know making money, sleeping around, building your empire, and pretty much just cycling through um a bunch of beautiful women, you know and kind of living that luxurious life and that sort of thing. So I wanted us to kind of, juxtapose the two lifestyles, and maybe, well, not maybe, but decipher um, the importance of um, settling down, essentially. Yeah, yeah. So I can throw it out to you guys. Like, why do you guys think it's important, to just settle down, like have a family and that kind of thing?
Boy, that's a loaded question, huh?
It's a loaded. Oh shucks.
Yeah. You said why do you think it's
But
important to
if it
settle
is
down and have
important,
a family?
if it is
Right, right.
important, yeah,
We, we have to first start with is it important?
yeah,
As a man, you bear a lot of risks when you conduct a relationship. You're the provider of resources. That's a general expectation
mm-hmm.
that falls on you when you take the mantle up of boyfriend or husband.
Correct.
But I'm guessing we're talking about committed relationships, so we're going more along the lines of husband, correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. So as a husband, you're expected to provide lodging, You're expected to provide resources to care for the family, and you expected to protect. So basically, if you did your vows right, you are expected to die before any harm comes before your family. That's given. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lot of risk. Think about that. In the absence of a godly template, or in the absence of a spiritual, um, how can I say that, atmosphere, what is the benefit to you doing that?
Mm,
If God is not in that picture, there's no reason for you to get married.
yeah.
You're assuming a lot of risk without any perceived benefit.
It
Because let's face it, I remember when I was 19 years old, I was having a discussion with a pastor. He was talking to a youth group, and he was saying, marriage is important. We need marriage. And I was about to stand up and say, no, we don't. You can get sex out of marriage. I almost forget where I was, you know. I was about to just stand up and tell the pastor, nah, man, you ain't in marriage. You can get sex without marriage. And I had to choke on that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shucks.
I just say, boy, you're out of pocket.
Yeah, yeah,
You're out
yeah,
of
yeah.
pocket. But yeah, if Christ is not in the picture, you don't need to get married as a man to get the things you want.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at marriage and commitment outside of scripture, outside of the godly framework, you ask yourself as a man, what's does the benefit, is the juice worth the squeeze?
Mm-hmm. 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 Wait.
Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, wait, yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you
Mav,
now.
you there? Okay, okay, good, good. Yeah, Mav, you were saying.
Nah, I finished my point. I was just saying, that's, is it worth it? I would say in the
Yeah.
context of Christianity. I won't even put other religions in it.
Mm-hmm.
With the context of Christianity and the
Mm-hmm.
you learn from the partner you're given, you understand grace better, you understand forgiveness, you understand love. But
Okay.
outside of that spiritual confinement, I don't see any point in a man putting himself for all that risk.
Okay, I got you. I got you. Okay. Trev, what about you?
Um, well, my relationship questions are always funny to me now.
Uh, why?
Yeah.
Why?
Um, it's just, I guess, bias.
Okay.
I can't speak outside of it. Um, I think it's important. I think settling down is more important in terms of the long term investment for the man specifically. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's better. The reason I say that is I would attribute that the breakdown of our society is because we don't settle down. Um,
Okay.
so
When you say breakdown, can you maybe give an
yeah, so
example?
I'm saying just the typical man sleeps with woman, woman makes child, man doesn't take care of child, man goes around to make some other babies elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Mother is left with child. Mother works two jobs to make ends meet. Child is neglected. Values are not instilled. Child finds belonging elsewhere, and I think I can say from here the rest is history.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a vicious cycle that's repeated in that way. So what I'm saying is the the alternative to that would be better long term for all of society, right? Not just for the man himself, but for the society that the man chooses to live in, right? While yeah, it is true that it's just much more easier and less risk to just you sleep around, do whatever you want, live your best life. You make money that to spend on nobody, unless it's a means to an end. Your value increases, and whoever you sleep with decreases because women live in a different world than we do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for on an on an individualistic perspective, yeah, no loss for you. But eventually, not even eventually, if things play out naturally, you might never suffer the consequence of it, but everyone else does, right? So the
Mm.
question really and truly is, what's worth it to you? Is it the good of the entire country, or just being able to do whatever you want?
Yeah.
One might argue that later down the line, when you are old and you need someone to take care of you, that you would have acquired and saved enough money if if you're a man that works well and increases his value and works out and develops himself. By the time you get old enough, it's pretty easy to get someone to take care of you until you die.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the intimacy is lost on
Okay.
a family level, on an emotional level. There's no one that you invested in, for your life, that you can
Mm-hmm.
get returns in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that in a sense is lost if one was to not settle down and just go around and think. Yeah, so that's how I weigh both options, generally speaking, and that's Christianity aside. I think that socially speaking, economically speaking, I think it's still better, even without God, that it would
Okay.
be better for you to settle down than to sleep around. That's just me.
Okay. Okay.
Now, I love the points he made, but I would offer a challenge to that. Yeah,
That's literally
because
what I was expecting.
yeah,
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Okay.
man.
yeah, yeah,
Because if I bring God in it, then it harder to disagree with. So
yeah, yeah, yeah. I offer
Okay.
no, no, because that's my whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Without the covering
Mm-hmm.
of Christianity, or the tenets of it,
Right.
it's not sensical for a man to get married. Here's the points Trev put forward. It's better for the community. Let's look at what we have in the community absent of God, right? You have men in relationships who don't know how to be emotionally available, who don't understand discipline, who don't know how to raise a family in strength and in spiritual guidance. And these men create offspring that perpetuate these same ideologies.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a net benefit for the community. Um, Furthermore, you mentioned intimacy. Without God's overguiding principles, you cannot really have any intimacy in a relationship. Going forward, you mentioned protection in the future, that you have a family unit that can provide an environment to take care of you. Well, I can tell you, as a social worker, bro, a lot of people have their children as a retirement plan, and that's the suckiest retirement plan you can ever have in your life. Just think about it as you are right now, right? I don't know how old you gentlemen are, but just think about it. If your mother turns 80 or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you still have to work. You have a family you want to raise and take care of. You have children of your own that you have to have, and boom, something happened to your king and your queen, and they're on your back because they never put a retirement plan in place. They never put a nest egg to take care of them. They're now completely reliant on you for the sustenance, for the medical bills, for taking care of them on a regular basis. How does that work?
yeah, I get that, but that's predicated on the assumption that the person that the man that chooses to settle down doesn't have a plan. I don't think I would agree with that, unless you're referring that. I mean, that's the average household of a man who settled down. Is that what you're saying?
Now, I'm saying settling down does not necessarily mean that you have that cushion of protection in old age. So
Oh, okay,
we
okay.
cannot use that as a benefit to say, well, when you settle down, you have that. That's not necessarily true. And more often than not, what we see is if you don't sort out that, regardless of the family or the system you have, bro, is street life. You have to figure out how to navigate on them streets. Yeah. So I'm saying we cannot use settling down as a defense mechanism for or protect a protection for old age. That that is that is not the same thing. You can't have a family and still be out in the streets sleeping under the stars if you don't have your stuff together.
Right. I check.
And that's what I'm saying. When you look at everything together, if God is not central in this whole marriage thing, I really cannot see the benefit for a man to get married.
I mean, if I think of Trevon's point correctly, I feel like the I'm not too sure if that's what Trevon was referring to, but like in terms of like the partnership, you have a companion. Maybe maybe you are out on the streets looking at the sleeping under the stars, but I mean, at least you have a companion. That's what I'm thinking.
I agree.
Now,
That's what I'm
now,
saying. I'm not
now,
talking about.
listen, you guys. I love the fact that you guys are still bright-eyed and optimistic about these interrelational
All
topics.
right.
Listen, even when you're a Christian, how difficult is it to have a relationship, a committed relationship without issues, without problems, without strife,
Yeah.
without jealousy, without envy,
Right.
without hatred, without resentment? How easy is it to maintain one like that?
It's not easy.
So you're telling me as a man, you're out in them streets with the stars as your covering, and this woman, and I'm guessing she's an attractive woman, this woman will be in the streets sleeping outside with you when she can, at very easy, on a very easy level, get a next man to take care of and get out of that life. Why would she do that?
Hmm. Okay. I boy, like I think
No, no. Before you gloss over, answer me this: why would a woman, without the guidance or the ethics of a Christian God or Christian institution, why would she sleep on the streets with you if it would benefit her to get a man to take care of and let you handle your business by yourself? What is going to compel her to stay there?
wait, I'm nothing away.
Right, right. So let's dial it back. So as a man, let's say you've taken care of her for 10 years, you've been doing good, and something happened in the business and you lost everything. Everything went south. You had to liquidate most of your assets. Things kept going bad. You lost the house. Boom, you're out on the street. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they have no Christianity in that. You and this woman just organized, made a transactional situation. We married for the legal status of it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and now things went south. Why does she have to stay?
She
There's
she
no reason.
there's no reason for her to
There's no
stay.
logical reason because without God in the center of it as a covenant, what you have is transactional. This is not based on love. This is based on a transaction. Yeah, you take care of me. I provide you with the thing you like every night. So if you're not taking care of me, why?
Mm. Okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Any thoughts, Trev?
I think it depends on what what the man values at the end, despite despite lacking the finance and the risk of the women, being hypogamous, not having God existing at all in their worldview. I think that there are many men who are very well off and lonely. They have exhausted all the pleasures they can, and there is literally nothing left. They have achieved everything that we dream of as men, and they are empty because they have no intimacy. They never invested in anybody. One like for a year, it was always just running through different people. I am saying that these men, even at the pinnacle of their value, are miserable, 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 because they never invested in one person long enough to ever experience intimacy, ever. And I am saying that a man that settles down, even if they end up being under the stars, which is literally only an anecdotal fallacy, that's only the worst case scenario. The average man that chooses to settle down would have experienced more intimacy, real intimacy, even if the selfish hypogamous women that end up getting up and leave. The heartbreak alone is proof that they experience intimacy.
Okay.
That the high value man at the top of the world never ever got to experience. And they miserable having access to all the women they can get. They still cannot get the intimacy that the man sleeping under the stars can get. So it ultimately depends on what the man values. And that's what I'm saying. Ultimately, if every man was to get everything they want, society would never exist, bro. It would not exist. There would literally be only criminals. Only. There would literally be not a single healthy child, no emotional intelligence at all. If every man got what they wanted. It's just not it, bro. It's not it. So that's why I'm saying, holistically speaking, looking at the entire country, the entire society, it is still better without God to settle down than to sleep around. That's all I'm saying. Even if the payout not good, even if the payout not good for the man particularly, in the long run, society on a whole would still be better.
Okay.
Right, and I still fundamentally disagree because here's what I'm saying. When you gave that scenario, you mentioned that the man with everything, if he doesn't have intimacy, he's not fulfilled. That's a strong point. But here's what I'm saying. The hole that this man is filling, the hole that this man has, right? The fundamental issue with him and the emptiness he has cannot be filled by just intimacy. It has to be filled with a connection with God. Yeah? Because the woman will just be another item that'll go and get sucked up in that hole. She cannot fill that gap. No woman can do that for any man. A man has to get that filled with his connection with God. And then it puts him in a place for him to have proper intimacy with a woman. Yeah? So there's no, whatever fake connection he has will not will not fill that gap. And that's what I'm saying. Outside of a Christian narrative, marriage is a poor substitute for fulfillment. And it's even to the detriment of a man. Because you won't get real intimacy without the love of God, without understanding what grace is, what forgiveness is. You cannot really have intimacy.
Okay. Okay. So I see well, unless Trevor, you have something to say.
Not hour. Bro, I don't like repeating myself. I think my point is made, and I understand and I disagree. So that we gotta not think about that. And that's
Yeah,
and
fair
that's I
enough.
guess I think the beautiful point about that again is a fact that as long as God not in the picture, there's chaos in both
Correct,
scenarios.
correct, correct. And that's what I was about to say. Like let's invite God into the mix, right? So then with God in the picture, like what I mean, Marvin already mentioned a few of them, but like, w- but even in addition to that, like with him in the picture, what are some of the benefits that we are looking at, and like how can we, you know, from level zero, how can we incorporate that, um, like within our lifestyle styles even before reaching that point of marriage, and then when in well, maybe you guys will give me some insight, like when you're in the marriage, like how do you continue cultivating that to have the ideal, to really um reap as much benefits as you can that you have sown. I feel like I phrase that kind of funny, but I think you'll
Nah,
understand.
it's okay. I get it though. I get it though. What I think I would start the conversation by saying, well, I don't think there's any point in talking about the ideal. Let's just talk about the best case scenario given our situation.
Okay.
Yeah, because um yeah, it's just it's basically quixotic to like to look at the biblical principles and the existence of God within our within this discussion, and not realize that not even God expects the ideal.
Okay.
God is literally accommodating that he's accommodating with the best case scenario of our free will choices, right? So really and truly, we are already at a disadvantage of the of poor parent of past poor parenting, right? So we already have baggage, we already have trauma to work with, to cope with rather, or to overcome, right? We already have poor parenting examples, and that's just based on the argument that no one is perfect,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
the fact that we're getting worse. Couple that with the rise of all four waves of feminism, and how that has affected the whole gender conversation.
Mhm.
So I'm saying all of that muddies the waters, to even begin addressing the conversation of which scenario is better with God, right? So I think it's important that we acknowledge that we are way past the possibility of the ideal, but what we can do, as the Bible puts it, to it's redeem the time. In other words, make the most of the time you have left, given the damage that has already been done. How much can you recover, right? And I think that that's a better framework to deal with the question of marriage and intimacy and relationships, because as Marvin rightly said a while ago, even as we are Christians, bro, even as we are Christians, we are still dealing with the same shit that every other relationship going through, every single one, right?
Mm. Okay. Okay.
So right, so we have to acknowledge that first.
Mhm.
And I think from there, what we can do is try to figure out what is the how can we use the Bible principles in our relationship to first recover from the damage that has already been caused, and almost slow down the damaging process
Mhm.
for our future relationships and for the children that we plan to make as well.
Right.
Yeah, so I think that's where we should start.
Okay. Okay. What's it you think?
Um, the way you phrase that question, I would change it a bit.
Mhm.
Um, I think what you're asking is what's the correct me if I'm wrong. What is the benefit of marriage if we consider God in the mix?
Yes.
All right, that's a good question. I can. I can, having been married for almost 10 years now, I can put some, I can,
Mm-hmm.
I can speak on that in some form.
Okay.
I can tell you something, nothing prepares you for that.
Really?
Yeah. Nothing can prepare you for that. You're literally um, giving up your freedom as an individual and you're pairing yourself with another person and you're going before God and you're telling God, the only time I'm going to leave that person is when I die. And then a problem happens and you go for a divorce paper. That's one of the most interesting facets of marriage. When it just started, you're bright eyed, you're positive, you're willing to go before the God of the universe and make a vow to tell that being that I will stay with this person no matter what, in sickness, in health, till death will I leave that person. And as soon as trouble reach, as soon as trouble reach, you forget all those big words you were saying before the God of the universe, and words like divorce start coming into the picture. That's one of the interesting aspects of this. And Trevor said something I want to touch on as well. There's a lot of imperfection in our character. One of the funny things as a practice, well, I'm not done yet, but as someone who has a lot of interest in therapy and
Mm-hmm.
counseling, you find that us as flawed human beings,
Right.
what we tend to do is pick
Mm-hmm.
partners who bring back some of the issues and traumas that we're familiar with in our families of origin.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a self-sabotaging practice that we imagine
Yeah.
you had a failed relationship with your mother who was bossy and who had a controlling behavior, and
Mm-hmm.
you in that house and that woman just annoying the best bone in your body.
Mm.
However, when you pick a woman, she's exactly like that mother who's annoying you. That's a
Mm.
recipe for disaster down the line.
Yeah.
However, us as human beings, we have a tendency to be drawn to the familiar. So you will seek out that woman because you're familiar with it, and you will try to heal that relationship that young um, Trevor couldn't heal,
Mm-hmm.
and see if you can make it work in that relationship. Yeah.
Right.
So many of us choose partners that already make it difficult for us to have a relationship, especially if you've never done therapy, if you've never had counseling, if you've never worked on yourself as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
You find yourself in that kind of cycle. But what marriage as the ideal was supposed to do was supposed to bring us closer to God, right?
Okay.
When you look at the metaphor, not the metaphor, what's the word I'm looking for? The symbolism of Christ and the church. Christ literally likened himself to the bridegroom and the church as his bride.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have to look at what we've been doing as a bride of Christ, we give God so much honor already.
Boy.
Yeah?
Yeah, boy.
The Bible looks as anything as an idol, anything we put before God as breaking our vow of chastity, as being unfaithful towards Christ. And for the idols we have in our lives,
Yeah.
guys, that's a horn we give Christ. There's so much. And he's still telling us that he's going to come for us. He wants us. He's not giving up on us. He's there for us.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally what marriage was supposed to produce in us as men. We're put in a position where no matter what this individual does, that we're going to be there to protect her, to take care of her, to lead her to a better life. And through doing that, we develop the ultimate good. We develop not the ultimate good. We develop ourselves in a way that we become better persons.
Right.
And that's what I think the ideal for marriage is. That when we take those vows, we mean it. But for that to happen, your selection process has to be impeccable. You have to be so in tune with yourself and with the God you serve before you choose a partner. So that ideal that I speak out can at least you can get close to that ideal.
Mm-hmm. 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 Well said, boy. Well said. Well said.
Yep. So I would say the first step is to know myself.
Right.
Okay.
And bro, honestly, I don't think any other step.
Nah, man, the second step
Boy,
is to have that
no, no,
sincere
no, no, no.
walk with God.
I finished my sentence. I finished my sentence. I was saying I think any other step like works without that first step.
Mm.
Like if I don't know myself, I can't grow myself. I cannot I can't know what God like how God wants me to improve. I cannot know what to surrender to him to change. I can't know you know how therapy would benefit me. I can't see the link between the partners I choose and my parents.
Mm.
Knowing myself, bro, is
But
like
Trev, I would ask you to tweak that, because
okay, okay.
one thing I've realized in therapy, it's difficult for people to have absolute knowledge of themselves, because there's always some part of you that's hidden from your conscience, from your conscious, that you can't even make heads or tails of. What I would say is to heal yourself. Yeah, there's a lot of trauma that we carry around that makes it even difficult for us to be honest about the things that we're going through, because we haven't gotten past the point, or that little child in us hasn't been healed in terms of what we've been through. So
Mm.
instead of saying know yourself completely, I would say heal yourself. Because with a healed mind frame, you can see others who have been healed as well. Yeah? It takes a person who has been healed to see another person who has been healed. And it
Okay.
takes a person who is having a walk with God to see another person who's walking with God. So these
I
are the
agree
these
with
are
that.
the
I do agree with
yeah.
that. But what I'm saying is, can I heal myself if I don't know myself? I know what to heal.
Yeah,
I
but
didn't even.
you will not ever perfectly know yourself, but you can realize you're
So
hurting,
that's what you're
and you can,
saying. Okay.
yeah, and you can
Okay.
check on that.
So then,
Yeah.
how do we, how does one start the healing process? But like, how does one heal oneself?
Be honest, be honest with yourself. There are things you boy. Let me give you one. You hear a lot of men talking about women, and they get passionate about it. Say, yeah, boy, them girls not good. All girls are cheated. That's anytime you hear somebody making definitive statements of a whole group and putting them with one brush, that's a sign of hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When you hear people making statements with bold claims and passion, there's a sore behind there that hasn't completely healed. It's something that needs to be checked upon. Now, you might not have the capacity to do it by yourself. You can sit with a counselor and walk back, take the steps from the front and walk back to figure out where the origin is.
Okay.
But most of these passionate boy, there's a word for it. There's a lot of things we say out of hurt, out of pain,
Mm-hmm.
and you see it in women mostly, because men don't just burst out passionately like that until they're talking about women. But you see that, right? And that's a sign that there's some pain and trauma that has to be sorted out.
Mm. Okay. When I listen, when you mention like, boy, like, cause when you mention like being honest with yourself, boy, and like, but then like, if you like, is it okay? Let me ask it this way: can you be, so damaged that even being honest with yourself, like, that just becomes warped? Like what even is?
Right. So here's that. If you already know you're so damaged, bro, the first step is to start the healing process.
Okay.
Yeah, walk into a therapist's office.
Okay.
Start at the beginning, because you already know you're damaged.
Mm. Okay. Okay. All right. So then after, so we have um healing oneself, knowing oneself. What
And your walk with God.
walk with God. Okay.
Because I tell people that a lot when I'm making presentations on relationships. When you look at the original model for relationships, Adam and Eve, correct? God told Adam, yeah, dominion over everything. That garden is yours, boss. Free up yourself, name everything, take over it. Yeah?
Yeah, man.
And then Adam saw the need for a partner in himself. You look at the duck, that duck have a partner. You look at the bird, that bird have a partner. You look at the bear have a partner. Where's my partner? What's going on? I need relationship. After he figured out he needed a relationship, God put him to sleep. God created woman. Now, in that verse in the Bible, when you look at it, it never said God gave Eve to Adam. When you look at what the Bible says in the actual Hebrew, it said God walked with Eve. Yeah?
Okay.
Now, another important part of the relationship aspect here was Adam was always walking with God. They said Adam would walk with God in the cool of the day. They were friends. Adam had a relationship with God.
Right.
So God put him to sleep. And then Eve was now walking with God. So basically, Eve was walking with God, Adam was walking with God.
Right. Right.
And they met each other while they were walking with God. Adam claimed Eve. Adam said, "This is woman, she's flesh of my flesh. And from this point on, man will leave his mother and father and cling." Adam was the one who said that. Yeah? God doesn't choose a person for you. You have to choose a person for yourself.
Okay.
Now you can choose a person walking with God, or you can choose a person after the flesh.
Right.
But ultimately that's your decision, and you have to live with that decision. You cannot blame God when things go south in your relationship or issues happen. That's your choice. However, if you're in a serious relationship with God, you're always walking with Him. If there's a girl or a woman who's walking with God as well, while the two of you are walking with God, you will meet up.
Okay.
And that's the underlying principle. If you get that down first, the rest of the relationship will be a good one, because you both will be inclined to give each other grace. You both will be inclined to forgive. You both will understand that you're not perfect people, and that there will be faults, and that there will be issues that we have to get through in order for us to have a good relationship. So that's a big part of it, getting the foundation right.
Okay. Okay. Trev, what are you saying?
I agree to what was said. I would say that a lot of people they seem to or claim to they claim to know themselves, and you would find that in claiming to know yourself, you still have to like take out the layers, right? Because some people, when they say they know themselves, they might know what the problem is, but they don't know why.
Yeah,
They,
Bishop, the heart is deceitful and
right,
desperately wicked.
right. So you find that some people say, okay, I am this way, deal with it. And that means that you know yourself, but you don't know that it's a problem. So you
Another
find,
another thing they might say, Trev, I'm a Pisces. That's why I get into fights whenever I hear it. Like,
right, right,
yeah.
right, exactly. So
Now
as a,
you swear you know yourself, right? Because you're a Pisces. Yeah, Maji.
yeah, and the problem with that now, I don't know if it's an American thing,
I
but
didn't lose to it.
our it's like we have made our problems our identity instead of the problem. You understand?
Right.
So my problem is who I am, not my problem. And as a result of that, by owning it as identity, as opposed to seeing it as a part of you that needs improvement or complete elimination in some cases, you'll find individuals, they actually don't know themselves yet. They've not figured it out. And that is usually what creates this pandemic, bro, of just no accountability, where I'm choosing the same type of person and failing, and I'm creating multiple families and none of them work, and everyone else is the problem, not me.
Yeah.
you don't know yourself, bro.
That's what I was waiting for you to get at. They call that externalizing.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
somebody would realize they have a problem, but
Mm-hmm.
the problem is not mine. Yeah, I'm not going to take control. I can't do nothing about it. Yeah,
right,
that is it's a problem. You
right.
are. I need a. When you start hearing people talk about I need someone to handle me, that is a big
Sheesh.
red flag.
Yeah, man.
Anytime you hear a man or woman say, "Yeah, I just need somebody that could handle me," that's a big red flag because that person is saying whatever issue is happening that has of no concern to me. You need to figure that shit out for yourself. I'm going to stay like this. What are you going to do about it? And that's a red flag. Sorry about that, Trevor. I just wanted to point that out. Go ahead.
Nah, it's good. It's good, and because I think the examples make the point better than the concept. So I appreciate that. And I think that that pandemic is what's destroying families that could have worked quite fine. That's why I don't really believe in the one. I believe in the work. Right?
Okay.
You check it because
What do you mean
I
by that?
mean let's well yeah I'm about to unpack it. What I'm saying is it's very possible. It's very possible that the individual that is in your life currently, your partner, could be God's choice for you, and you can fumble God's choice. A lot of people have a very deterministic view of God that what and you see it a lot too. Like whatever God has for you, you cannot lose it. It must come to you. That kind of these kind of statuses, these posts, but God doesn't function that way. For example, Saul was king, and one can argue, biblically speaking, that Saul was God's choice. If you know the story, you know how Samuel literally had to go and look around and look for a specific man in the smallest tribe in the kingdom of Israel. Then Saul had to he had to go and look for his animals that wandered away, and then he ended up finding the animal, and the animal was with Samuel, and then Samuel on all of that is providence,
Mm-hmm.
literally set up for Saul to become king. But he fumbled, even as being God's choice, even as being God's will. He fumbled because he left God out of the picture.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that this applies to a lot of relationships as well, where it could work. And I'm saying this again. I I I can be wrong, but I really don't think that God functions in an idealistic way. I believe that God functions in a more accommodative way, where He is working around to achieve the best case scenario as opposed to the perfect will that He had in mind. So there is someone that God prefers for you more than anyone else, but based on your free will choice, you might end up with someone else. That does not mean that it's bound to fail. So I'm saying that applies to relationships as well. That while we do end up with someone, the goal is not to find out whether the person is the one or not. The real question is, are you willing to put in the work? Because maybe that person is the one, but only after 15 years of actual work being done in the relationship. Maybe that person is exactly what you want, but you fail to take into account the dynamic change of the person because you are in a relationship with them. A lot of people don't consider that. So she checks all the boxes, but remember that you will affect her. You will change her by just by just your being associated all the time. Have you factored that in the person that she will become? All of these things, you that why I tell people, you marry one person and 10 years down the line, that person is someone new. Human beings change, bro, with
Nah, Bishop.
experience,
Not even 10 years down the line. You are not the same person you were yesterday.
right?
People are always changing by the nature of growing, by the nature of
Yeah,
existing. You
right,
change. So
right.
don't even talk about 10 years. Talk
Yeah,
about
that
a
not
week.
too far.
Talk
Not too
about a
far.
week from now. Talk about
We.
tomorrow.
Yeah, solid. Yeah. So that is why what matters is the work. Are you willing to put the actual work in to make it work?
Mm-hmm.
Why are they?
Mm-hmm.
And Marvin, we've had this conversation before. Don't think about it. Why are there no recorded divorces in the Bible? Just think about that. And
Right.
I talking aside from Moses writing the law for the slaves that just come out of Egypt.
Right.
They needed structure. But just examine any relationship you can think of, right? Why
Mm-mm-mm.
are there no recorded divorces between these, the general characters of the Bible? Why is that the
Mm-mm-mm.
case? Now, one might argue that it's a strongly patriarchal system, so women have to survive, so they never leave, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think even deeper than that, the culture of the time was to make it work. It was not a matter of, and Marvin, you like this point where you run your girl through compatibility tests and personality tests and you check it, and and then horoscope matching, and Taurus can work with
Mm-mm.
Pisces, and you right. So you want to make sure everything match first
Right.
before you say that's the girl.
Okay.
Why is it that we, without any of these so-called man-made tests, that all of these relationships worked? Like, and the Bible makes it so simplistic, right? Jacob pull up, boom. Jacob see Rachel. The Bible says Jacob kissed her, boom. That man go to Laban, Laban down one I want.
One
There's no
time.
there's no
One
dating
time.
around and getting to know. That is the girl I want. And to date, Gasser, if Leah didn't tie up the vibe, Jacob would have been fine with just Rachel, bro.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Moses. Moses running from Pharaoh. Moses pull up in Midian. Moses help the daughters of I can't remember his name. Water their animals. He sees Zipporah. Boom, Zipporah he won.
Yeah.
Not that they have no, and I'm saying, Gasa, that the whole point is literally just the discipline to make it work, the
Making it
stick
work.
to itiveness,
Okay.
you
Okay.
know
Okay.
and that is what maintains a relationship, with all the other things considered as well, but I'm saying that's the point. Stop looking for the one. Just put in the work for the best case scenario of who you end up with. That is really and truly what matters at the end. So yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you made an interesting point there when you spoke about Saul when God was choosing a king. But even before that, I want you to consider this in terms of selection. God told Samuel that he's going to give the people a king that they wanted. God knew the hearts of the people, and he allowed Samuel to select the one that the people would want. I want you to think about that deeply. Yeah? Saul was not God's choice. Now, you talked about God not working with ideals. I'll put it like this: God desires the ideal for us. However, he'll work with whatever we choose. Because for love to exist, it has to be within the confines of
Of
choice.
choice.
If there's no love, if there's no choice, there's no love. God
Yeah.
desires the ideal for us, but he'll work with whatever we choose. So it's on us. Yeah? God would have, and I tell a lot of people, if you saw the girl God wanted for you, you probably would object at first without even knowing the reason why he chose her. But God knows what's best for you. However, you are operating from a carnal standpoint. And I almost go say, oh, you have to be handsome, you have to be 6 feet, have six figures. The mark of the beast they're asking for, a bishop, 6 feet, 6 figures, 6 inches. Yeah. The mark of the beast, 666. The number of man. But
Good.
you could have a 5 foot king in your life that would be taking you through all the procedures, build up your spiritual life, give you a great family, be a great communicator. But you would ignore that simply because of the carnality of what you want. Now, God will not force you to take something you don't want, but He will work with the ideal like you chose. And that's why God said, I will give you a king that you want. Saul was given to the people. That was the king they wanted. When they saw Saul, all of them were elated. That's the one. Imagine if God had just given them David from day one. What do you think would have happened?
Yeah, yeah, I
If
see what you're saying.
God had given them David, that's what you're choosing?
Right.
That short fella? That small boy? Look at what all the other nations have. You don't appreciate the ideal until you suffer with the less ideal, or until you suffer with what you wanted. And that was one of the greatest lessons in that story of the first and second king of Israel. Israel was given what they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
God literally told them, hey, Samuel, it's not about you. I know you're feeling slighted. I know you're feeling like they didn't want you as a prophet, but it's not about you. They're slighting me. I will give them what they want. God looked at the heart of Israel and said, I know that's what you want. Here it is. And he told them before, king will want taxes to pay himself. He'll take your men to fight in wars. He'll take your best horses as his chariots. He'll take your best daughters for his wives and court. That's what you want? Here it is. I think that's one of one of the biggest choice.
Mm.
Points in the example you gave with Saul. God gave them ultimately what they wanted. Even if he had something better, even if his original plan through the prophets would have been the ultimate good for them, they wanted that. He let them have it. And he even tried to give them the most ideal king, even if that wasn't his
Right,
original plan.
Yeah.
right.
So while God desires the ideal for us, he will work with our choice because love cannot exist without choice. And that's why I keep telling people, God did not choose that man for you. You did. God did not choose that woman for you. You did. And then you went before him and you made a vow that said, I'll stay through better or for worse, not through better or for cheating, through better or for worse, not through better or for. You said that I will only leave her when I die. Now it's funny. I'm supposed to be doing a presentation on that for AY this Sabbath. It's a men's ministry day Sabbath. That AY that will be very
You
interesting.
get a nice warm up there, guys.
Yeah. You said till death do us part. Yeah, and now the trouble come. You trying to play like, and that's why I tell men, unless you're going to take your spiritual life seriously, devote yourself to God, work on your connection with Him. Marriage will not be the fun time you think it will be. There's a lot of sacrifice, there's a lot of grace, there's a lot of forgiveness, there's a lot of understanding about emotions and how to connect with the person you have. You have to raise your children with discipline, and a lot of us are not disciplined. You cannot discipline someone if you yourself are not disciplined. Only a disciplined person can discipline another person.
Okay.
So all of that has to be part of the conversation when you're talking about raising a family as a man. Your connection with God has to be strong first, and then you're qualified for going in that arrangement.
Wow. Wow. Well said, Marv. Well said. Well said, guys. Trev, you have any? You have any?
Nah, point was made.
Yeah, boy. Solid there, boy. Both of them make some solid points there, guys. Yeah,
Yes,
boy.
sir.
This afternoon, self, I'm going to feed my Google LM. Yeah, man, and then I go jot down some nice notes, guys. Um, okay. Um, so, Trev, you think we did the topic justice, or
Bro, you know already, we barely touched that. Bro, only one question you ask, how you
Yeah,
doing? You
yeah,
ask
I
me.
know,
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, we
so
have a lot of stuff.
But in terms
yeah,
of
ask
the,
that question.
but in terms of like the, well, okay, well, maybe I should rephrase and say in terms of the question.
Well, yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, well, the introductory question was is marriage important or is marriage necessary? And The way I approached it, I was telling you, unless we go in for a Christian context, like if absent me being in the church, I wouldn't have gotten married. And
Okay.
I'm talking to you as a man who grew up Adventist, born and raised. I backslided
Mm.
sometime around age 13. I came back around age 25, 24.
Okay.
Yeah. While I was in the world, I would guess what I get married for. Everything I want coming to me. But when you start understanding what it means to be Christ centered, what it means to have a walk with God and wanting to be closer to God, you realize that it'll be difficult for you to boy, how can I say that? To chisel your character down until you have to deal with somebody in your life that you didn't grow up with, that didn't grow up in your family. And then you have to realize, boy, yeah. Because a marriage shows you what big of a waste of time you are. Having another person in your life, you can think you're the best person on this planet. A marriage will teach you or show you the flaws that you have in your thinking, in your relatedness with others. And I tell people you will never be prepared for it. And if it wasn't for the vow that you told God, I'll stay with that person no matter what, most persons would just pull the plug.
Yep, yep.
But then,
Because if you don't believe you serve a mighty God and an awesome God and a God you revere and a God you wouldn't take a vow in front of that you didn't intend to keep, if you didn't have respect for that God, there's nothing making you stay in a relationship long term. Because trust me, every relationship you stay with, there will be particular problems, there will be particular issues. Most people who get divorced and try to remarry are at the highest risk of a second divorce.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
really?
Yeah, man, yeah,
Yes,
man.
that's a
That's
statistic.
stats. Yeah, that's
So then
stats.
what?
Yeah, man.
Okay, why is that?
Yeah, because when and that's I use that as a litmus test. I tell all young men, use that as a litmus test. When you get with a woman who was in a previous relationship, ask her why the relationship didn't work out and what she contributed to the dissolution of the relationship. Don't ask her if she contributed. Ask her what was her contribution to the dissolution of the relationship. You don't have to do it with attitude in your voice. Just be casual about it. In what ways you think you contributed to the relationship breaking up, and see what is said. Because here's what happened: a relationship goes south when two people decide it can break up,
Okay.
especially a marriage. Both persons have to decide the marriage is done for.
Yep, yep. Agreed.
Yeah?
And I guess sorry, continue. Sorry.
No, no. Go ahead. Go ahead,
No,
Trev.
no.
Go ahead.
Well, I was open up another kind of worms there, Marvin, because I think that it speaks to the danger of dating, and I say dating in the solution sense, right?
Bros, dating in any sense is flawed.
No, no, no.
Honestly,
Let me define it. Let's define it because
yeah,
yeah, let's define it
hey,
because
I can promise you any definition you give me, you'll get the same answer.
I
okay.
bet that's
Go ahead.
I'm willing to take the risk.
All
Um,
right, go ahead.
yeah. So I'm saying that the well, I must say biblical mercy the
Mercy.
ideal Adventist definition of dating is getting to know someone of the opposite sex, right?
For what purpose?
The just no purpose. Just okay. No, no, I lied. So
Nah,
for the
nah.
intention of courting, for the intention of courting. Um,
Ah, okay.
the solution version of dating is having a relationship without a title to see if I want to put a title.
I can give you that. But here's my
Yes,
problem.
sir. Yes, sir. I take it
Nah,
again.
yeah, I can give you the definition, but I'm still telling you that I don't think it's appropriate for for a Christian. Because you literally putting yourself in a situation for failure. Yeah? How do we
Okay.
date? Let's have a real talk right now.
Okay.
Right.
And I've
So
had a
that's why I
conversation.
wanted to make the distinction. That's
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
why. Because I am
No,
saying
no.
that no one actually dates the way that the ideal definition supposed to work. So that's why I'm
But
agreeing with
by
you.
its definition, it's doomed for failure.
Okay.
Honestly, I believe the proper way of doing marriage was the biblical model. You let the elders or persons with a high spiritual,
Discernment.
yeah, let them choose, let them pair the people up, and you'll get married by 19, 18. Get that out of the way one time.
Mm.
Mm. Okay.
Because y'all really don't understand how your body works, you know. Y'all at your height of your sex drive. Well, men had the height. Women get to the height of their sex drive later on in life,
Yeah.
40, 30, stuff like that. But imagine you've been at the height of your sex drive now, and then you're in a one-on-one situation going somewhere with a girl trying to get to know her. My boy, you're not seeing nothing straight.
Mm.
That little head taking away all the blood from the big head, and you're not seeing the things you're supposed to see.
It depends how much I'm bigger though.
Was that?
I repeat it that. I repeat it that.
I'll watch it on
It
YouTube.
was on
Yeah,
YouTube.
I'll get it back.
Uh,
Nah, but
uh,
I'm being for real because what ideally supposed to happen on a date is you test all the flaws in the person and see if you're willing to put up with it.
okay.
And even that doesn't serve any purpose either, because let's face it, you have flaws too.
Right.
And the object of life with our walk with God is supposed to chisel out these flaws so that we can attain perfection through his righteousness. So even if you're measuring this woman by the person you're seeing in front of you now, there's no telling what she will be 2 months down the line, 4 months
Right.
down the line, 5 years down the line. And most people will tell you, yeah, it takes me 2 years to know the person before I can marry them. No, bro, because that is a new person you see in there every month.
Mm.
So then you're pushing back something until you know the person, wasting 4 years of the girl life, and then you're not going to marry her now. That process has to start again, another 4 years. How many 4 years before you find the one you want? Or the one you're going to marry, I should say, because at one point you wanted all of them.
Mm.
That's what I'm saying. The system is flawed. Because basically what you want to do is test drive the car before you commit to buying it. And it's not a dealership. We're not in a car dealership. That was never the plan God had for us. The plan was you commit and you say, hey, God, I walk in with you. Um, I want you to give me discernment. I want you to reveal your choice for me. You put it in God's hands. And when God gives you the choice and everything you've done in terms of prayer, in terms of conversating with your God, points to that one being the one, why would you say no?
Yeah. I
Why
feel you
would,
on that.
why,
Yeah.
why would
I
you tell
agree.
God send a next one? Huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
You want him to send you Saul?
Hmm.
Yeah. So that's what
I
I'm
get
saying. If you're doing it right, you're walking with him and you meet a girl who's walking with him, why it take 4 years? Why it
yeah.
taking why it taking 2 years? That's as much as I want to be that person, I would say, guys, get your life together, make sure you can make good money, sort yourself out financially, and pull the trigger, marry the girl, get it sorted out. I wish I had somebody to give me that advice when I was younger so I could have married my wife earlier.
Yeah. I feel you on that. I guess you. And that was part of that's why I brought up the dating thing, because I think statistically speaking, the same way that first divorces increase the likelihood of getting divorced after the second marriage, I think I think we can start that statistic from dating. That
Mm.
the courting and the breaking up, the dating and the heartbreak. I think that also by
Also.
the time you get, yeah, like by the time you get to the first marriage, it's technically the 12
Boy,
Okay.
you just made me remember something, Trevon.
MIG, do your thing.
You remember what you came to the church to do for me a few hours ago? What was that? What were we talking about?
Are you referring to the implications of Marvel and
Now we were
uh
talking about Hollywood and the themes that Hollywood has been perpetuating.
uh 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 uh
And I think you were the one who said basically Hollywood is the devil's Bible.
Mm.
Mm.
Was it you who said that or somebody
Nah,
else?
it wasn't me. I was there for Marvel. Hollywood was the week before.
You know, I think I was the one who said that.
That Feb. The fact that you would actually read that to me, go 10.
Go
Yeah, I
Teddy.
think so. I remember in that I was telling people that we have a Bible. Yeah, I think either me or Jerome. I'll get it. We have a Bible that gives us a a codex. You have a Bible that gives us a user manual on how to live life. But Hollywood also has a manual on how to live life.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Okay.
Giving us the devil's newsreel. Everything the devil wants to happen is been shown in Hollywood, right? In mostly all superhero movies, the evil, all powerful being is coming from above, and we have to protect ourselves on this planet. That's
Right.
what every Marvel movie has been about.
Mm-hmm.
That's what every Transformer movie has been about. The evil, powerful being is coming from the top, and we have to fight them and repel them as one.
Yeah.
They want to change the way we live life. They want to start something new, but we want things to remain the way it is forever. That's the devil's Bible. That's his
Yeah,
scripture.
yeah, yeah.
Now it goes further than that. The devil has a lot of things. The Bible tells us what relationships are supposed to be. Man and woman are supposed to come together. They're supposed to be one. There's supposed to be no other third party. The man forsakes his father and mother. He moves in with the woman. Is man under God, woman under man, child under woman. That's God's plan. What does the devil's Bible tell us? Now, I had that question in a Sabbath school with one of the young persons, and I didn't even have to wait long. He said, well, the plan is see a girl you like, become intimate with her, and decide what you want to do later.
Mm.
A
Yep.
three-step, a three-step plan. See a girl you like, decide what you want, become intimate with her, and decide what you want to do later.
Yep.
What's the devil's plan in terms of business? Get rich or die trying.
Mm.
What's God's plan? Do not esteem money above your God. Be a good servant. Manage the money He's given you. Don't let money become an idol.
Right.
Use money for the benefit of others. Be a
Yep.
good steward of your time and your money. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, we're so familiar with the devil's Bible all throughout the week that Sabbath comes along. And Brother Marvin, being your Sabbath school teacher, will tell you, hey, when you're in a relationship with a girl or when you're dating, you're supposed to be able to do the same thing you wouldn't do if your brother or your sister, you shouldn't do with that girl. And everybody will laugh at Brother Marvin. So what I'm saying, I can't even kiss my girlfriend? Who that doing that in them days? Kasa, you must be joking. Boy, you'll ever tell me? And everybody laugh. And I say, but
Mm-hmm.
that's what the Bible says. The problem is you are so used to reading the devil's Bible and you're starting to believe the lies of the devil that what I'm telling you sounds like a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing about get rich. I was telling a boy about finance and how to live life, and he brought up get rich or die trying. I told him that's the most gayest philosophy I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I told him that's the gayest philosophy, and he was like, "How you can say that? Everybody ready to fight with me in the class. How I can say that?" I said, "That's the gayest thing I've ever heard. You know how much, you know how much bullying you can do to get money before you die.
Uh,
You know how much work your backside can do before you die for money." Because what you're doing, you're elevating money as the pinnacle, as everything. I would die to get that. Before you die, there's a bunch of weird stuff you can do to get money. Are you really down for that? Is money so much of an idol to you that you would compromise your morals to get it? But that's what the Bible teaches us. But you're so used to listening to the devil's Bible that my wisdom sounds like foolishness when I say it.
yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
shouldn't say my wisdom because I'm using the Bible as a reference point for teaching.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Biblical wisdom becomes foolishness The
Yep.
devil has been teaching us so much using media, social media,
Music.
music, all that kind of stuff. He's been putting his ideologies, his philosophies, and he's making it look like everyone is doing it.
Yeah.
You have to be an idiot not to do it.
Yeah.
And that's where we find ourselves in problems. That's why I say, Bishop, I wouldn't give dating the green light. Honestly, I believe the safest way to pair up people for marriage is having elders who have a strong connection with God, who are responsible, who know, and who are also married to help to just match young persons and get that over with. I believe that's the biblical model. That's the smartest model.
Okay.
Yep. Yes, sir.
What?
Yeah,
What do you think of that model, Trev?
Bro, I never disagree. I have never disagreed with the Bible, and I go start now.
Very, very.
yeah, man. Trevor would have been married like 10 years ago.
Uh.
Right. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. Trevor would have been married 10 years ago if that model was in effect right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't. I wouldn't play with them and I say just now. They have a 20-year-old married already. Oh, come. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez.
That was all.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Let's
Nah,
let's
you're right.
let's jump on a bus. Let's go down Soufre. Let's see what's going on there.
Boy, the choice of location is so that touched my soul. Dog. That triggered a trauma in me. That selection. So
Uh, nah, but the point is, that's what's supposed to happen. But the devil is trying to make us look at things as old-fashioned. Like when you tell a woman about arranged marriages, what comes to her mind is oppression and being used as chattel or being used as an object without understanding that the persons who were making that decision were usually the persons who cared for you. And it was a community-based initiative. Your parents would look at, let's say all of us are in a community, the three of us as men.
Mm-hmm.
I have a daughter, Trevor, I have a son. I know Trevor, we cool, we go back. I can tell that he's raising his boy in the Lord and his boy will be an industrious
Mm-hmm.
person.
Mm-hmm.
So me and him make an arrangement. All right, your boy probably 2 years older than my girl, we can make it work. We shake on it and she married already. She even know that. We would spend time getting them to know each other. I'd go over by his house, let them go and play, we'd supervise it. We'd go out on vacations, bring them along. They grow to know each other. And by the time she's 19 or 16, I'll tell her, hey, that's the boy you're about to marry. That's gonna be your husband. Um, by the time you leave this house, I'll be giving you $200,000. There'll be a house on the other side of this property that you guys can use, and you'll start your life there. You started off with capital and resources. Your parents gave you a push forward because there were dowries in place for these
yeah,
things.
Yeah.
yeah,
But all you hear is and movies did again the devil's Bible did a great disservice to the way we think. All movies you see, the woman finds the Prince Charming, the most handsome guy that she wants to be with, and her arranged partner is a douchebag who doesn't know how to behave, or
Mm.
he's very violent, and you have a bunch of other women cheating with,
Yeah.
and she has to follow her heart instead of following the structure that was put in place to better the community. And that puts a distaste in your mouth when you look at the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
In every movie you see, and that pains me out when I see it in a movie. The villain will hold a gun up to one of the people and tell him, "Hey, pray to God and see if He saves you."
yeah.
Why does that have to be in the movie?
That's true.
Why do we have to cast doubt? Why do we have to cast doubt on a supreme God for theatric value? Or the guy would say, "Okay,
Mm-hmm.
let's see if God stops this bullet." Or if you're scared, go to church. Or we don't want we or the devil Christianity is a white man religion. All
Yeah.
lies.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what we have in the devil's Bible. He's discrediting the source of wisdom. He's discrediting good practices and A lot of people don't even realize how their mind have been skewed towards bad practices simply by engaging in the type of music they're listening to, the type of movies and sitcoms and series they watch. That has done so much damage to us in terms of promoting spiritualism, in terms of promoting Gnosticism, pantheism, these kind of things. Like we're so programmed right now. You don't even know it until you read the Bible and you see something and say, "Ah, I'm not doing that." Where do you think that
Yeah,
came from,
yeah. Solid.
Wow.
boss? I turned into a 2-hour
Yeah,
podcast.
that's what I check in day. Boy, so no, I'm literally just thinking on and just processing what you've said.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a
Yeah,
lot.
no, it was a lot, and that's good. This is good. This is good. This is what this is about, you know.
Now we haven't get into some of the stuff you told me about. I found were more
I tell
interesting,
you,
but
dog, you do that hard, Gasa.
Waban?
Marvin said you are getting to some of the things you spoke to him about.
Boy,
I tell bro, listen,
boy.
as men of experience, Marvin and I have been on enough panels to tell you, bro, limit it to 2 to 3 questions, 5 questions max. Bro,
So here's
we
what.
know that already. You cannot do better than that. If you want to develop any thought properly, you cannot exceed that, bro. Because we will never finish anything. Never.
So then, okay. Here's what I'm thinking, right? Um, we could segment it off. We could segment it off here,
But
and then we could continue um the way forward. We could like literally just like in for this particular season, we could just flesh out the entire thought.
I
yeah,
relate.
that's not a
What you're
problem.
saying? What you're saying? Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
And we have to go back to the AI one too, because we
We
bet.
have finished.
Yeah,
we
I tell
have,
you.
okay. Now, I mean, I'm thinking. Again, it depends on your schedules. We could kind of do a juggle. So on the Sundays, we could do the marriage thing, and I don't know, maybe on a weekday, we could flesh out the AI thing. But is
Now weekdays just be hard for me, boy.
weekdays gonna be hard?
Yeah, because I come from work, I go gym, I have meetings. I'm a part of a lot of groups,
Yeah.
including church and uh, non-governmental organizations. So it's a bit difficult.
Okay, I understand. I understand. Um, what about boy? I also suggest Saturday night, boy. What 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 about the Saturday night? That's your time there.
Well, usually what we do after AY, we spend time with the young people. We go out with them, you know,
Okay.
kind of like a impromptu social.
Yeah, man.
So I can't even commit to that one either.
Okay, fine. But we'll have to maybe commit maybe 1 2 Sundays to think the AI one, boy. But the AI one is have a lot, eh?
Yeah, but I'm not even really all that into the AI topic, so you could do that one without me.
Okay.
The relationships is one of the things I'm more strong. Although there was a question, I'll look into the AI questions again and see. I think there was something I wanted to address in one of them.
Okay. Yeah, I can rewatch the episode and because I still have the old outline. So
Yeah, I think I have it in our chat as well.
yeah. But yeah, Trev, we will figure something out for the AI one.
Hey,
Um, yeah. But I think yeah, we will flesh out. We use this season to flesh out the marriage thing, and then we could kick off from there.
for sure.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so I guess we could just stick a pin in it here, folks.
Yes, sir.
Um, I get any. Do you guys want to leave any final thoughts for the new week for everyone listening? And then I
Um,
guess we could just close.
know yourself, know God, know others, do the math.
I want to take what I wanted to say.
Wow. That's it. Buzz.
Yeah, street bars. Alright. Marv.
Uh, I think one of the takeaways is as men, if we follow the model that God put for us, relationships is one of the most important things. I would say one of my advice to younger men is to understand your emotions, understand your feelings, understand how they work, and know how to be in control of these. Because if you're not in control of it, someone else is.
Mm.
Yeah. So learn how to be in control of your thoughts, your emotions, and your feelings. Otherwise, somebody will be controlling you. And understand that relationships work best when you do it God's way. And if you follow the plan that He has for you, it's one of the guidelines to becoming a better person, both character wise, personality wise, and it just makes you an overall better person. Nothing shapes you more than realize nothing points out your flaws more than another human being who has to see you every day.
Yeah, yeah,
Your triggers, you'll understand your triggers, you'll understand where you fall short, you'll understand defects in your character, and that's the point in the Christian walk. Is to chisel out these defects, is to work on it, to cover yourself in Christ's righteousness so you can make it into the kingdom.
Yeah.
How hard would that be if you're living by yourself and you have nobody to help you out on that journey?
Well said. Well said. Well
Yeah.
said. Um, well, I don't want to go up after Marvin, boy, but what I will say is, um, keep focus on God's Bible. Um,
Mm.
let's
yeah.
try
Solid,
to yeah, let's try
solid.
to call out on the devil's Bible. Let's be more cognizant of the things we consume, the things we feed our eye gates, air gate, things we eat also. Let's be more aware, and let's really make an effort to yeah, to spend time in God's Bible, man. That's my my key takeaway here. All right. Well, with that said, everyone, thank you for listening.